Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. This is going to be officially the first podcast from the new office that we set up in Bangalore. And today, very excited to have all the digital marketing masters here. We have Avi Arya, and we have Gaurav Gurbakshani, and we have Kulwant Nagi. And today we are going to have a discussion and we are going to talk about the power of masterminds. So we created pretty much the first mastermind in India for digital marketers.
Welcome to the Digital Masters Conference.
And in the past 4-5 years, we have seen tremendous growth in our business since we started this mastermind. So we are just going to have an open discussion. We are just going to have conversations. We are going to ask questions to each other. So enjoy the show. Things simple as now choosing the right email marketing tool. Yeah. Hey, what are you using? Hey, I used this. I burnt my fingers with it. Yeah. So since we all learn from each other's mistakes, I think we don't waste a lot of time doing our own mistakes and learning from it. And that is for me the biggest takeaway from the mastermind.
100%.
Yes. So Gigi, what do you think?
So I think like the mastermind, another word can be like a multiplier, because you're working with people in most cases smarter than you, and instead of like you attempting to do so many different things, people are doing different, they're excelling in their game. So basically you don't have to do everything yourself, you can just learn proven models, you know what works, what doesn't work, and then it also builds this entire network, right? And everyone knows that your network is your net worth. True. So you're with the power of 5, and I'm super fortunate enough to have like 8 other folks in this group, and then tapping into their energy, tapping into their tribe, learning from them, it's priceless. I don't know what is a second best option to a mastermind, maybe like a business school or something like that, but at the same time this is so real world, it's in the trenches. It's like, boss, what's your revenue last month, how do you do, what worked, what failed, acha, this scene happened, that tax happened. Otherwise, where do you get this on the journey of entrepreneurship? If you're alone, you're like screwed. You're screwed.
Exactly. And you only see highlights. People only show you in other courses or whatever, they show you highlights. But here, like you said, you've seen the process and taking from it what works for you. Absolutely.
I would say masterminds are still better than B schools, because in most of the B schools, you just go there to learn and you are not implementing while you are learning. So we are here in the middle of the street, and it's like, imagine 1,000 years back if we were all just selling vegetables or ornaments and things like that in the marketplace. It's almost like forming a cartel. I wouldn't say that we are trying to prevent other people from entering. It's just that masterminds have a certain limit for it to be effective, but people can create their own masterminds. And we have all been part of other masterminds as well. So we absorb information from there. We discuss it among ourselves. And I think one of the reasons why most people hesitate to become part of masterminds is that, first of all, they don't see the value in it. And if they don't see the value in it and don't join a mastermind, then they can't start a mastermind of their own either. Right? So let's talk about business models. Yes, it is proven that a mastermind is so powerful. It is rare that 9 different marketers who are still on some level competing with each other to come together and start promoting each other. And it's not like we are taking a larger slice of the pie. We are making the pie bigger. Yes. So that way, I think, everybody should, think about it. And yes, Kulwant, what has been your experience of having joined the mastermind, and how did your pattern of thinking and behavior change as you were in the journey of the past few years of being in this mastermind?
Awesome. For sure, it has contributed a lot. As Avi said, when you are into a mastermind, you are not alone. You have the people who have already done something in that field, and they are always there to support you. And he said it very well as well, that if you need any special tool, any special course, you don't need to put your energy in that, searching for that stuff, because there are already people, already your friends there who are going through almost those courses or using those tools, so they can directly recommend that, hey, go there, use ConvertKit. Hey, go there, use Teachable to host your courses. So for sure, it saves a lot of time, because I personally have gone through that journey when I was like wasting hours of my time just looking for the best tools. And for sure it is saving a time. And I think we are living in a world right now where we are very much distracted with these YouTube shorts, reels, and all these things. And doesn't matter how motivated you are, these things will always suck your energy. It's your duty to stay on the track, to keep yourself motivated. And in entrepreneurship journey, there are many times when you are like demotivated, when you have low energy. But once you have the right people with the right mindset with you, you just go there, and you are just one message away. Open your WhatsApp, put a message, I'm facing this problem, and like your peers are always there to help you. So for sure it has contributed a lot. And I'm seeing a very good pattern in my life where 3 years back I was a totally different guy, and now I'm seeing that yes, if these people are making that much money, that pushes me to exactly
Right inspiration.
yeah. And the best thing about the mastermind is like we are very open to each other. We even share our numbers. Last month I made these many sales. Yes. This was the profit. This was the expenses. So it's like amazing, for sure.
Yes. And one of the reasons that people can't expect to achieve success just by doing a course is because things are always changing.
Exactly.
And it's very fast.
True.
Like for example, last year I was using Zapier, and this year I shifted to Pabbly. And Pabbly is actually much cheaper than Zapier, and certain features are actually better. And I wouldn't have gone through this transition unless we kept communicating with each other and hey, what is working, what is not working. And masterminds, I think, are the future of education. Don't you guys agree? 100%. Yes. 100%. And you just need to be elevated to the average of 5 people around you. Right. And if you surround yourself with that kind of people, which is something that we were right in the middle of that educational revolution, I would say, or the transformation of people preferring masterminds more. And we saw that internationally many people had started doing masterminds, and I think it has become more effective as everybody got used to Zoom by 2020. And we are more comfortable talking to people, interacting with people on a Zoom call itself. But yes, we did have offline mastermind meetups. That's where it started, which is also important. But we were right in the middle of the transition, and all of us somehow realized that the power of the mastermind is too much. We have to be part of it, learn from each other, and competition versus collaboration. Collaboration is definitely better. But I think getting together a bunch of people who are like-minded, it's not always possible for people to just randomly reach out to people and try to, hey, will you become part of my mastermind? It's a little bit of an on and off process, which we also went through. We added a few members, then we added a few more members, then some members left, and then it kind of stabilized. So since for most people it is not possible for them to kind of take an initiative and create their own mastermind, don't you think it's a better idea to actually join a mastermind?
For sure.
Yes. 100%. Yes. So Avi, Gaurav, Kulwant, you all have experience in being part of masterminds, having your own students, having experience in launching courses, creating content. But the mastermind kind of transformation, it's not content, it's more of the community feel, but it's like a very premium community, just like when you look at Stanford or Harvard. Right. Half the value is not from the content that they give, but because of the group that is there. So yes, Avi, over to you. Tell us about your experience of being part of masterminds and launching your own mastermind, and maybe a little bit insight on how masterminds are very profitable for creators and mentors. So
great.
Yes,
so you know what? Now at the age of 45, I think I'm at a very good point in life where I would like to see what all worked and did not work for me in the past, and what is it that I'm going to be doing correctly in the future. When I want to make a decision now, I want to borrow from the knowledge of generations and see what is common between my grandfather, my dad, mine, and future generation. There should be some common things for success. Now, if you go back to the Bhagavad Gita, this one person goes to his Swami, his Guru, and he says, Guru, what should I do to be able to be, I'm not able to do it. I'm lazy, I've got all these things that slow me down. So the Guru says, Sangat, find a Sangat of the people who you want to be like, and you'll become like that. So this was said, I don't know how many thousands of years ago. Now coming back to 2022, EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, and then YPO, Entrepreneurs Organization, I think you need a $1 million turnover minimum to join it. It's all over the world. They have chapters. And YPO is, I think you have $10 million company or whatever. And these are some of the most successful masterminds on the planet. So 2022, YPO is working. Earlier on, thousands of years back, the sages said, find the Sangat. So we are calling it a mastermind. So it is a time-tested model. And to be able to get out of yourself, what the masterminds have taught me is, I don't need to focus on what I don't know. I don't need to learn it at all. You know, I just need to be in the company of people, and 30 to 50% of I'll be whitewashed just by staying there. Initially, if say for example I want to become a bodybuilder, or I want to become a lawyer, or I want to become whatever, I'll go to business school, or I'll go to law school, I'll go to medical school, and I won't even come back home. I'll call my mom for Diwali. I won't even come there. So I've given up everything and I've gone there. And after 5 years, I'll say, hey, I'm a lawyer. Just because I stayed 5 years with lawyers, where everybody was that. So whoever you want to become like, in that company in a few years, you 100% become that. The only inertia is when people think too much. Should I or should I not? Once you get in, then you cannot get out without the success that you want. That's what I believe.
Yes, yes. And I have also seen that people who want to, build a higher ticket product for, their own business, if they are not part of masterminds, they don't believe in masterminds, and they don't launch their own masterminds.
Right.
So a little bit of an insight on how you have been able to create your own mastermind. Sure. And what is the value delivery in this mastermind? Yeah. What do you do? We started a mastermind. And what we do is that we do annual events, right, where people can get together, see each other, because that is also very important for people to connect with each other, because the power of the mastermind lies in how cohesive the community is. Sure. And the community becomes more cohesive when they meet with each other. And we do a weekly 3 to 4 hour call where all the stakeholders are there on a video call. We discuss, we ask questions. And then we have one-on-one consultations as well. So what do you do to make the mastermind work?
So first was my positioning. It's part of the Internet Moguls umbrella, but I call it the Family First Entrepreneurship Program. People who want to follow their wildly successful entrepreneurial dreams without giving up on what matters most, brackets family. So because I moved to Canada back to be with my wife and kids, at the same time being able to run my 3 businesses. So what am I doing in terms of mindset, in terms of discipline, in terms of being able to manage multiple time locations is the kind of people I'm attracting. So I am attracting people who are at least 40 plus, definitely have kids, still have a lot of zest of life and entrepreneurship, but with kids and spouse and everything, they don't know what to do when. So that's what we are teaching them, to be able to do multiple things by hiring what my dad taught me. My dad changed everything for me when he told me, you're not the captain of your ship, you're the coach. So now I put right captains. So that's one of the things that we teach them, to put the right captain in the right place. So I think a mastermind will, when it starts, is from your own vibe, and a lot of people can teach different things, but the micro niche I would say would be, family first entrepreneurship, taking care of all of that. So that's how we started it. Again, we have weekly calls. We've got 19 members so far. We had to say no to 1 member, like you rightly said, because of the vibe. We had to say no to 1 member. And people are coming every week, they're sharing their, and when we ask them, the content, the teachers and all of that versus the feeling of not being alone. Yes. They rated 60% feeling of not being alone as human beings. And not being alone, not just being with people, because even at home they have their families, so they're not alone. But being in a mastermind of family first entrepreneurs, all of whom are trying to juggle life and people at home. So being in the company of those people, they don't feel alone. So mastermind with a micro niche is what we did, and I think that micro niche is allowing them to, say, like I feel, hey, Deepak, you get me when my Facebook ads are not working. Like my family loves me, but they don't get me. So similarly, a mastermind of people who get you because you're on the same.
Yes, exactly. And I would say that, the whole creator economy is going through a transformation right now. Yeah. And earlier there used to be a time that as a creator, if you just had a blog and continuously kept blogging, and you would get traffic, you would get following, and you would make money from affiliate marketing, or you would make money from Google AdSense display ads. But what has happened through time is that creators have had to find out different ways to monetize their creation. And unless you are getting paid for your creation, you can't like do this full time, mentor people and everything. So that way, I have started seeing more and more internationally as well as in India that creators monetize by creating their own mastermind, putting a price to it. And there is a lot of value in that mastermind, because once people join that mastermind, it's not like just content that you are delivering, but it's a change in behavior, change in mindset, change in beliefs, which starts happening because you are in a community of people. Like I joined a mastermind in 2020, and there were only like 100 members in that mastermind, and almost everyone was making more than $100,000 a month.
Right.
And I was like really inspired by that, and the feeling that yes, you can also do it, starts coming to you. So Avi, if you don't mind, what do you like, what is the price of your mastermind?
Sure. So it starts from 9.5 lakh rupees for a year.
Yes.
And we have 4 or 5 festivals in the whole year where we give it as low as 7.5. But we try to, one of the things that I do is we try to take the entire money up front, because I want them to be mentally 100% invested, not 50% invested. Because if the 50% investment, it shows in their work. So when people say, can you give me an installment? I feel sometimes you do need to, but we try to stay away from that, because it helps you to, that person makes a full commitment. And when you're writing a 7.5 lakh rupee check to a mastermind with me, you're speaking to your spouse and your entire family. So everybody's invested that this guy is going to be spending, 40 weeks with Avi, and then the homework and all of that. So they're invested as a family. And then those people, they rise in business in the first 3 to 4 months, faster results.
Yes.
So at least that amount. And honestly, at this point in time, I want to increase the price, because you have to put an effort to be able to get it. It should not be easy.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yes. And I feel like, it's like the whole business scenario, a lot of things is not available for our understanding immediately, and those market discoveries can't be done by ourselves.
Right.
So if you have played strategy games like Age of Empires or Red Alert, you will have a map at the corner, and if you take a unit and move it around the map, more parts of the map gets opened up, and then you can find, oh, there is a mine here, you can go and get resources from there. So I would say a mastermind is more like all the stakeholders are going in different directions, finding out, hey, I tried this works. Hey, I tried this works.
That.
And then you start like expanding your mind.
Yes.
And whenever your mind gets expanded with a new idea, it can never go back to its original position. It will not let you sleep, and you will get pulled. Like you don't need to push yourself to work. You will get like pulled into work, right? So if that change in behavior cannot be delivered via content. So again, going back to the creators economy, creators started monetizing like that, and then a lot of creators started posting YouTube videos, and then Google AdSense was not enough to keep running their YouTube videos anymore. Then they started getting sponsorships and partners. So you can see a lot of YouTubers having like product placement inside their video, which is like sponsored. But then again, a lot of creators don't have the patience to build their following into millions of followers for multiple years. But there are small niches where people are like really wanting to learn certain things, and when they want to learn certain things, they always want to learn it from someone who they want to become like. Sure. So you as a personal brand, you have n number of ways to go ahead and monetize your creation, but you can't just monetize by posting free content all the time. Yeah. And then creators tried launching courses, but again, courses can only give so much transformation. Just like you have like a cap for the prices of books, which is like around $10 to $20. Most of the books internationally, no matter how famous it is or how good it is, books don't sell for $500 or $1,000. So that way, then creators started trying to increase the price of their courses. But then as you try to increase the price, it's not just a product component, there is also a service component. So you might as well charge enough that you don't need thousands of customers. You need like 50 to 100 customers in a mastermind, in a membership per year, to make your entire creator's journey worth it.
100%. Two things I like what you said. One is somebody who wants to start a mastermind should be a part of a mastermind.
Yes.
That's how it flows.
Otherwise, the belief system of how masterminds add value is not even set. So you can't charge that. So we had a course for 15,000 rupees. We still have. And then I had people on my email list who were on the email list for like 4 years, 5 years. Since 2016, they have been following me, and they have not joined my 15,000 rupee course because they felt like it was not right for them. And then we launched a mastermind of like limited 100 people called Alpha Club, and we are pricing it at 2.5 lakhs. And people come into it and they say that I was always waiting for something like that. They want to, pay, right? And then I was like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? And we don't have Siddharth Rajshekhar here, but he's almost like the leader of our DMA and the person who has taken the most initiatives, went farthest and pushed the boundaries as much as possible. It's like that one unit which explores most of the map, and he not just implemented systems, he actually mixed it with what he learned from US, what he learned from stage selling. He put it into webinars. So he's like the OG. And now I would like to ask Gaurav. So you have also been in the creator's journey, and you have seen a lot in terms of how do you make money by mentoring people, teaching people and everything. And you have recently become part of Siddharth's mastermind itself. And Siddharth's mastermind is not like content heavy, right? It's more like action heavy. And how has your experience been in going through this, and how fast has your transformation been, you being part of Siddharth's paid mastermind course?
I'd say like Abhi said, if you want to start your own mastermind, you have to have like the moral authority to have done couple of masterminds, not just one. Mm-hmm. You have to have done couple, learn like from the best. And my goal isn't really to start like a mastermind at least for the next year or so. Though starting with our mastermind, you feel the value. You actually feel the value. That's when you can be like, okay, this actually can happen. So I think there are two types of like masterminds. One's like a peer-led mastermind, like a EO or YPO where everyone is there. Then there's a guru mastermind where there's a guru and then people follow that particular model. What we have is a hybrid where we've got multiple people doing multiple masterminds. So like I said, it's like a total multiplier. The reason I joined the mastermind was because of the accountability, When you sign up for a course, if I do a course and I don't make money, I'm like, oh, the course doesn't work, or this is not good, or that's not good. It isn't me, because you're alone. Then when you're in part of a community and you start seeing results, then you realize, dude, it is not the product, it is not anything else. Other people just like you are crushing it. It is a problem with you. And I think that's like a major aha moment. And then you know what you need to change as well, right? You get the habits, you get a blueprint, you know what you need to focus on. You can not make all the decisions by yourself. You're asking questions to people who are coming back from their journey. Right. They've seen that. So there's no guessing. And business is a lot of guessing if you are by your own. Dude, I don't want to be in that position where I'm just guessing anything, thinking that this is going to be my business success. So I think two things: proof, like when other people just like you are doing it, and like a mastermind is so transparent, right? Kurwan said, okay, these are numbers, this is what went right, this is what went wrong. So you're seeing these weekly, you're seeing these monthly. I think that's enough to motivate you to just like get off your ass and being like, dude, I am going to follow this to a T. So there's a lot of discipline, there is a lot of self-belief, but that's what a mastermind is for. Push your boundaries. You're saying that it's not going to be comfortable, it's going to be like hard. Yeah. But who else is going to do that hard work for you? It's like going to the gym and just working out by yourself, or getting a personal trainer. And then if you have the best personal trainer for your space, it's obvious that you'd want to learn from them. Yes.
Fantastic. So the first mastermind that I joined in 2020 was costing me $30,000, and it was just a 1-year membership, and the only product that was there was that there is a weekly mastermind call where you can ask questions to your mentor directly, and there are one event every quarter, so 4 events in a year, so 2 offline, 2 online. But just being part of this mastermind, it's not like the mentor is always talking and you are always like asking questions. You can discuss with other members, and other members jump in. So as creators, if they start a mastermind, they don't need to be like really worried about, hey, I'm charging so much, but what is the value that I am providing. They will understand that only if they are part of masterminds and they have shelled out results. Yes, and have seen results. Yes. I started my mastermind after joining my first mastermind for $30,000. So that was international. So I positioned it for India and I went ahead with it. And it has been a very good system to support the creator. And also, most importantly, you are getting paid to learn deeply about your target market, right? Businesses do focus research. They try to understand what customers needs, but you will never understand it deeply enough unless you get them to pay a high ticket price to, have access to the mastermind, and you work with them very closely. And obviously you should be focused on client results, and it's possible because you don't need too many people in the mastermind. Right. I mean, any mastermind that is priced less than, let's say, 2 lakhs, I wouldn't call it a mastermind yet. And a lot of people are like, hey, what is the value here, right? So that is why creators hesitate to start their own mastermind, especially YouTubers with millions of followers. If I go and tell them, hey, start a mastermind and charge 10 lakh per year, they are like, no, I don't think I can do that. I have got used to just delivering content for free, all the content for free. But okay, that's a good thought. But that free content is not delivering any transformation. Like, people need to pay that money to become serious. So it's like, yes. So it's like, hey, you have a problem, I have solution to the problem. You join the mastermind, pay a huge price, and then the mentor says, no, you are the problem, as you said. And you might think that, hey, isme value kya hai? There is value in it because I can see the results. Yeah. I can see the results of my mastermind members. And I think for creators, creating mastermind can be like a very, very good investment. And let's say a mastermind of 100 people paying 10 lakh a year. Right, so that's 10 crore a year in business. A creator making $1.5 million a year is all he needs, and everything rest that he does can be given for free. It can be books, it can be podcasts, it can be speaking, it can be events, it can be their YouTube channel. And I've started to think that you don't really need to ascend customers in multiple stages, eventually get to the mastermind, which is still something that has been an effective workaround for most of the people to get to their mastermind. So both approaches work. So Kulwant, you have been in the industry for, I think, almost 20 years now.
10, 11 years.
Yeah, 10, 11 years. But before that also you were like a hustler. So you were in that hustling mode, right? Doing whatever it takes to, start bringing in the money. And you have seen the creator's journey. So you have had blogs which rank very well, and it started bringing affiliate marketing revenue. You started making money with AdSense. You do, I think, a little bit of JVs and everything. You have launched your own theme and for a specific target market, which is affiliate marketers, and called Affiliate Booster. So you have also tried different ways to make money online, and you have seen the creator economy evolve over a period of time. So what is your thoughts on how should what are the things that creators should focus on to build their personal brand and then to monetize what they do so that they can continue what they are doing?
Right. As you already said that in the creator economy, creators are not very much confident to start the masterminds. Yes. And if I see the patterns right now, then I feel that gone are the days when creators used to just create the content and the audience doesn't even know who is the owner of that particular blog or who is the creator of that blog. But now people are more addicted to consume the content if the creator is sitting in front of them and he is teaching something. That's why people are shifting more to the videos. They just want to experience the trainer. They just want to experience how he speaks, how he behaves, and ultimately they can be a part of their mastermind. And surprisingly, when I was actually looking at my own dashboard last month, and we have around 2000 students in our paid training, and I was just looking at the dashboard just to see that what exactly is happening at the back end. And I was very much shocked to see that only 20% people completed my training. And I was like, wow, like 80% people haven't even started the training. They just invested the money and they are not motivated enough to take the action. But as compared to that, if you are a part of Mastermind and if you pay 2 lakh rupees per year, first of all, somewhere it hurts. When you pay that much money, you are like going outside of your boundaries, pushing yourself that, okay, I'll have to pay that much money to be a part of that mastermind. And I think in that case, the data would be opposite. 80% people taking the action and 20% won't. It's like 80-20 rule everywhere. Yes. So for sure, Mastermind can create a huge impact because it's all about breaking your pattern, because every day we keep telling ourselves some stories and we are always stuck in our stories only. But when you go out of your zone and see what other creators are doing, what other masters are doing, then obviously it opens up your mind and you see, wow, there is a world behind that also. And for sure, it's like great experience.
See, there's also a very big thing when you see the comments of all these creators, or you see reviews where people are not saying very good things about them. The negativity is, hey, this is a monologue. I don't get to talk to you. There's no dialogue with the creator. Free content cannot be a dialogue for the most part. The second part is, okay, so the creator says, now I'll create a course for you, and we'll give you some some training and some access. That access to a large extent stops at the level of knowledge that the creator has. Now I want somebody else because now I want HR or whatever. But if that creator says, I am bringing in a tribe, so you've solved both these problems. The monologue becomes dialogue, and if my knowledge is stopping at a certain point, now welcome to my tribe, because now everybody is getting it. So you don't never need to get out of my community.
Yes. And a mastermind also attracts a lot of high quality audience. So in many cases, I end up learning from my own mastermind students. And I think if there is one big takeaway from this podcast that I want the viewers to take away, is that if you are in the creator's journey, which most of you would be if you are watching this video, then you should definitely be a part of a mastermind, and you should definitely start considering your own starting your own mastermind, right? And the belief block that most creators have, which I also had, is that people pay this much and will they extract value out of it? So in such a case, what happens is that you have to believe that yes, people will pay to get direct access to you, to talk to you, to hang out with you, but it also requires you to build a certain level of personal brand, right? And as Avi said, the kind of people that he is attracting in his mastermind are more focused on the life values that Avi prioritizes, like, happiness, family. And he will start attracting more of that people who kind of relate to, Avi, which means that Avi should have his thoughts put out on blogs, on podcasts, on YouTube, videos like this and everything. And unless there is an attention that is being paid to you, you won't find those gems of people which are strewn in the market who are the right fit for your mastermind, right? So let's talk a little bit about personal branding. I will also, tell people how I ended up building my personal brand as Digital Deepak into a known digital marketing brand. But Avi, over to you. So what has been the things that you have consciously done? So, hey, this is going to, build my personal brand. More people are going to listen to me. More people are going to get inspired from me. Over to you.
So, a couple of things. You asked a very specific question. What did I do consciously to build a personal brand? So, consciously, what I do is, Deepak, that I have a few non-negotiables, which is like once a week I need to be featured on a podcast. Okay. Which means that I will reach out to at least 3 people for which I make personalized videos. It takes about 5 minutes now that I've done so many of them. 5 minutes to make the video and about 15-20 minutes to understand the brand. Deepak has just got into a new office and Deepak has got a new beautiful car. I'm also into cars. So whenever I connect, I'll say, hey Deepak, nice car. I know this is 3000 cc, or I like the camera that comes up when you reverse and all of that. So I'll make that personal connect in that short video. Then I'll tell you that, I made this video specifically only for you. Please watch it till the very end. And then you watch that video. At the end, I say, I'm a family first entrepreneur. My program is this is the mastermind that I do. I see that you have a lot of people in your audience. If you feel that your podcast would benefit from my years of experience, I would love to be a guest. So that's one thing that I do consciously, to go on other people's podcasts. Minimum 100,000 subscribers. I do take moonshots as well, to go to some of the big ones as well, and sometimes they work. So that's one thing that I do consciously. The second thing that I do consciously is that, like you said, my values, Benji, my dog, my 2 daughters, my wife, my dad. I talk about all these things because I said, what am I going to market? I'm going to market my thoughts. What is in my head all the time? My 2 kids, number 1, my wife, number 2, my dad. So these are things I'm always talking about. So now I started talking about it consciously, so people know that this is who I am. These are my main priorities in life. And when I talk about these things, people always say, how that's a short 1 minute video, or that's a 20-minute video. How can I be connected with you, Deepa? Are you coming to Delhi? Can I meet you in the office? No, that's not how we meet. We meet at the mastermind. Yeah. That is the way to connect with me. To know more about the mastermind, then I'm doing something on Friday on a webinar, which we do regularly. So that's sort of the conscious approach to building the brand. I wanted, and nobody would mind 1 million followers, but now I just feel, like you said, 100 people a year at a certain price is enough revenue. So if I want that, I don't need 1 million followers. If I have 5,000 people who are attending and paying attention, out of that 100 people a year is very easy. So just that 5,000 people is my focus now. A, it removes the anxiety from when will that happen, and B, then you're focused and you're slow. My conversations, I used to talk very fast on the internet. Hey guys, my name is. I've slowed down on all of that because I don't have that kind of a big vision to create hundreds. And I'm only looking at 5,000 people. And I'm only talking to that person who has 2 kids and a dog and wants that life, by the beach or whatever. So I've slowed down, and as I've slowed down, in my own head, people are responding to me better.
Yes.
It's such how we relate it to our audience is it's so spiritual, scientific, magnet. I don't know. There's a pull and push there. So these are the things that I'm doing consciously.
Fantastic. So what you said about, reaching out to people and getting on their podcast is, it's sometimes like a very obvious idea, but we don't do it enough, because the first biggest benefit that you get from that is that you are getting exposed to their audience, because you are a guest in their audience and other people get to know you. And it's not just any people like random audience on the internet. These are serious people who have long attention spans. Since this podcast started, if somebody is still sitting around observing this conversation, then those are the kind of audience that people need to attract, right? Because most of the people are like 20-second TikTok video, they don't have patience to watch. And even like we get WhatsApp videos, and if it's a 2-minute video, I still forward that video. It's like 2 minutes. I don't have time for that, right? So most of us are like, getting into that social media, low attention span game, but still high attention spans are necessary. And the second biggest benefit that you get from being a guest on others' podcast is that you get branding by association, right? So if you are meeting someone who is like way ahead of you in terms of their reach, perceived success and everything, and you are just sitting and talking to them like casually, then people will immediately elevate your status to the hostcast status, right? And then sometimes your status might be higher than the host. Right. The host gives you distribution. Right. In return, the host is also going ahead and getting a certain level of authority. Like for example, Joe Rogan has not built a $1 billion company. He has not done anything in life apart from having conversations with smart people. Right. But when you think of Joe Rogan, you think of him as someone who hangs out with Elon Musk, Naval Ravikant and everything. So he just elevated his status just like that, right?
And also, I wanted to add here, very consciously I make an effort to not make that the last conversation I've had. That person at the end of that conversation should be my friend. I want to reach out to 90% of the people who I genuinely like. So if I want to become a friend at the end of the conversation, I have to go with something, not only create good value for his audience, but also understand that is there a book that he wants which is not available in India, it's available in Canada, so can I courier it to him beforehand? Or is the mic like a Shure mic that he's got one and the other one is an old one? Yes. So maybe so I observe those small things. Nice. It could be a physical gift or like for somebody recently I gave a Sadhguru course which was $150 because that person was Sadhguru. He said something that I'm going to go to the ashram but I don't get time. So I just made a username, login ID or whatever fresh for them and sent it to them. So it's a deeper connect with everybody, and so that this is not the last conversation. I don't need to be on that podcast again, but I don't want that to be the last conversation I've had with those people. Then getting on one podcast a week over time compounds into you having a lot of virtual masterminds. So you can pick up the phone. At the end of every conversation, I ask, can I connect with you on WhatsApp? Yeah. And 50% people say yes, and that builds your access to a lot of people around the world.
And I heard this somewhere that a podcast is one of the best way to have like a mature adult conversation with another adult with high attention spans, right? Because if we are just casually discussing something, then we don't get to that depth of the information. But when we are doing a podcast for an audience, we actually end up having much higher quality conversations because we consciously put effort into those conversations.
Your LinkedIn profile, you want to get a job, you want to get a big client for any business. If you tell them watch my channel, they know you're saying things consciously. Say that, see what I said, answers I gave on that person's podcast. Yes. That builds authority because your client will watch other people's podcasts. So on my signature, I've got some of the podcasts that I've been on. It just is a very unbiased way of looking at me.
And if you ever want to invite them for an event, if you ever want to collaborate with them, a podcast is much better way to start the relationship because you have already gone through like 1 hour of conversation. You can't get 1 hour's time of some busy person unless you are ready to do a podcast with him, right? Yes. Fantastic. So that is one of the reasons I also started taking podcasting seriously, and that is one of the reasons we set up this office this way, so that it can be a good place to make podcasts. And I am very happy to have gotten started with the first podcast with the masters itself. Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes. So, Gigi, let's talk about personal branding. You have been in the industry for a very long time. You have helped other people with personal branding. So, for someone to start, having that fan base, for someone to start following you, there are multiple channels of creating content. We talked about podcast. So, in your opinion, what would you recommend based on your experience? How should people go about building their personal brand?
So yesterday one guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, lazy G." I'm like, dude, who calls me lazy G, man? Like, but thanks, I responded to him. And I think what you just said, branding by association has been my trump card. Last week I was on Avi's Mastermind. He introduced me, great. Today I'm on your podcast. You've got like 1 million followers, so some of it will rub off as well. So it comes back to Mastermind. You meet the right people at the top of the game. It's as simple as your network is your net worth. You will get recommended if you got a good game as well. So that's my how people hear about me. And then we've got like very niche, very super niche. And what you said, dude, I don't need 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers. We've got very targeted niche people, like people who want to succeed at freelancing. People who want to like wake up early and start working with international clients and stuff like that. So webinars is the number one because you can share screens. Personally, I don't care if anyone can see me or not. You see my screen and you do exact like that. Here's my bank account. Here's my affiliate commission. Break le boss now. Just go and do it. There's nothing stopping you.
Does everybody have to be as good looking as you, or anybody can go on a webinar?
As young as you.
As young as you. At 21, it's easy for you to say.
Yeah, 21, like I'm happy where I've reached so far.
Fantastic. So, next over to you, Kulwant. The first time I saw your website, Blogging Cage, I knew that you were onto something, because as soon as I see a website, there are websites where the image will be skewed a little bit. They would have created an image for like 200 by 300, but they would have put it into a block of 200 by 400. I would never talk to that person. I'm that kind of person. So I have an OCD for design and OCD for a lot of other things. Like for example, I can find out the difference between different headphones, and a lot of people like it's all the same. Like no, the refinement here, the this, that. I get into the details, right? So
Even in the morning when we got into the car and we went for an early morning coffee before breakfast, your guy came to clean your car.
yes.
That's also part of that?
Yes. I'm like every day the car has to be clean, and every morning he cleans the car. So when I saw bloggingcage.com, and I have seen many other websites from other Indian bloggers, international bloggers, I was like, dude, this website design is sharp. There are like no rough edges. It's like well formatted and everything. I like this guy. I want to be associated with this guy. And this was like 4-5 years before we met in DMA, right? So I think you definitely have an inclination for design and the perfection when it comes to websites and apps, UI, UX and everything. I think that definitely set you apart. And you had primarily built your personal brand through writing. Right, and you write a lot. You have done content-related services for other people as well, and then you slowly started getting into speaking, putting yourself on video, getting comfortable with video, and then through Success Gyan, all of us got comfortable with addressing large audiences. So, tell us a little bit about your personal branding journey and how you got here.
Awesome. So first of all, for me, the biggest inspiration for this personal branding was none other than our Honorable Narendra Modi ji. The way he has done his branding is like seriously commendable. He's like everywhere. So because such a big person is paying so much importance to the branding, that means being a creator, you should also put the efforts to prove that you are way better than the other creators and you have something to create which your audience can consume, they can understand way better than other competitors, I would say. So yes, you said it very well that I have like very keen observation for the designs, for how the things are put on my website. And for my website, if I talk about blogging cage, I was like very much into that, so that the design should be so good that if someone is visiting the blog, they should feel like, wow. Normally what other bloggers do is, if you visit any other blog in India, the normal font size is 16px. But on my website, it is 20px, which is like 4px higher than the normal font. Because for me, the content is always the topmost priority. Doesn't matter how many ads you have. On my website, there is 0 ads. Because for me, content is everything. I want, if someone is visiting my blog, they should actually read the content, they should actually consume the content, and above that, they should actually enjoy my content. So that was my first step to like separating myself from the crowd by just giving a nice feel to my website, a nice header, nice footer, nice logo. And here I would like to add one more thing, like most of the people don't even consider spending the money on very small things. If I take example of your logo, most of the people don't even spend money to get a professional logo. In my case, I spent like 17,000 rupees just for a logo, and people call me like, you're an idiot, like 17,000 rupees for just a logo. And for me, it was like, it's my brand, it's my value. Because if people see my logo, they see my color, they perceive something that, yeah, this guy is doing something right. That's why the logo is so sharp. It's giving some knowledge, it's giving some, I would say, some information, delivering something. And if you see the Aflo Spark logo, that is my company, it's like very nicely created. He created a nice A, put a S inside there. It's looking like a spark. It makes a shape of spark, and it's like, wow, this is like some creativity. So to do the personal branding, I took these small things first, and then seeing again Mr. Narendra Modi ji putting so much effort his personal branding, I started like creating more content, being more active on LinkedIn, creating more content on platforms like medium.com. And recently I'm focusing more on Twitter, because Twitter is also like getting a lot of traction after the Elon Musk acquired it, because he wants all people just be there on Twitter. So just go there, create some threads, valuable threads where people can get something at the end when they consume your thread. And apart from that, for sure, we are living in the world of videos. If you are not creating video, you are already like 100 steps behind the person who is already doing it. As I said, people are more interested to actually see your face, to see how you speak, to how you behave. So it's become like very compulsory for every creator, I would say, to create the videos so that you can actually give that, I would say, personalized feeling to your audience. And if you keep on doing these practices, then for sure your branding will be at top.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, when I got started with my first blog, Bike Advice, in 2008, I did not even put my face in the About Me page. That's how much hesitant I was to put myself out there. And then in 2013, I started digitaldeepak.com 5 years later. It took up to 2016 for me to start creating videos. So it has taken a long time. For other people, it might not need such a long time, but the traction started happening only when I started putting myself out there. And a lot of people are very self-conscious to put themselves out there, because people are going to judge you, people are going to look through you. So in that case, I think one of the biggest things that helped me in my personal branding, or I would say because of putting efforts in personal branding, it helped me in other areas, is that I had to become more authentic, right? If you are one person to the world and one person inside your house, then you will not put yourself out there, because you will feel like, hey, people will see through me, people will see my real face. So wanting to do personal branding started pushing me more and more towards, just telling what I think. And I would say that whatever your thoughts, you express it freely and everything, and you will start seeing that slowly a tribe will start forming around you. And your earliest fans will start giving you positive comments on YouTube and everything. And you can feed off that and start putting yourself more and more on video. I think my personal branding journey, by 2018, I did realize that, hey, if I have to go and tell the world that, hey, I am the real deal, I am serious. The problem with digital marketing, training, online and everything is that everything is digital and everything is in the imagination, and it's just appearing on a computer screen, and if you switch off the computer, it goes away, right? So I have always been focused on trying to create physical manifestations of my brand, And that is where the idea of High Traffic Summit came. And that is also branding by association. And Gaurav had come to the first event as a visitor. And then for the second event, he was a speaker. Avi was also a speaker. You were also a speaker. So when you put something like, tags and offline event space, there is hoarding and everything, then the brand becomes more real. And that is why I was always focused on sending welcome kits to internship program students, that there is a keychain, there is a pen. It's not much, it's just my logo on a pen, but it's still put it out physically, right? Stickers, t-shirts, having an office and all those things kind of like has worked out very well in my favor, and I have seen that results compound. And I think what I have done for my personal branding is that I have done the events. And when people see the pictures of the events online, so only 150 people came to the event, but more than 50,000 or 100,000 people would have seen me speaking on a stage, my own event with a bunch of people. And that is when the authority comes instantly. And people are like, oh, I should pay attention to this guy, because people don't have hours and hours to go through all your content and then realize that, hey, you are the real deal. So you need to, show them that. Writing a book, publishing it, and having like a hardbound version of the book has always helped me. If I go to like a client meeting, I take the book, give them one copy, and it's there, right there, physical copy, right? So online we do retargeting, remarketing, and I'm doing remarketing when their computer is shut off. It's like a book is not thrown away. A brochure or a business card can be thrown away, but the book is right there, and they are not throwing it away. Even if they keep it on a shelf, every day they are looking at it. So it's retargeting in a 3-dimensional space. And I would like to publish a lot more books, and I have a lot of ideas for that. Hopefully it will happen in the upcoming years. But with the one book that I have published, I have done some guerrilla marketing, like, if I go to an airport and if I'm waiting there and then there is a, bookshelf, there is a bookstore, then I go keep 2 books on the bookshelf. And I have planted books in Landmark. I have planted books in the libraries of many startups.
Awesome,
and then
awesome.
I was there in a startup office. I had put my book there. Last week I came there, but I did not meet the CEO of the startup. And then the next meeting, I was telling the CEO of the startup that I have also written a book. And he was like, have you written a book, like proper published it? Yes, it's right there in your library, check it.
Awesome.
But then I did tell him that, hey, last week I planted it, and then he appreciated me even more. So wherever you can, putting your logo, putting your brand, something that sticks to the offline space is something that I got the inspiration from Sapiens. So when I was reading the book Sapiens, it talked about how companies are just, imaginary. So we live in an inter-imaginary order, right? Where everything is imagination. It's all knowledge work. It's all brands. It's all perception, and everything is on paper. So you need to do things to kind of manifest it into reality so that people can feel like, oh, this is real. When you are selling physical gadgets, it's like physical anyway. But when you are selling digital gadgets, people will remember the brand more, the more physical it gets. And I think doing events is one of the best ways to, get that, physical vibe going. And it also happens in a very good 5-star hotel, and people are like dressed well. Everybody is in a positive vibe. So the impact of that brand, I think, definitely comes through in events. And also, as a personal brand, you need to, tell your story, because if you don't tell your story, then people won't remember you. People won't remember you by your name. People will remember you by the story, and they will attach your name to that story. So, in fact, I had this experience as a marketer when I was working at Practo. And Practo's CEO started Practo because his dad was admitted in a hospital in US, and they had to collect all the medical records from India and submit it there because the doctor wants to know your medical history. So Practo's inspiration was that, hey, can we go ahead and digitize all the medical records? So Practo has like 3 dots. So 1 dot is for electronic medical records, 1 dot is for doctors, 1 dot is for patients. So the electronic medical record is like the central database that connects the doctors and the patients. And I believe at that time their idea was to create something like a LinkedIn for health, where you go to a doctor and the doctor wants your medical history. He sends you a request. It's all encrypted and everything, and you accept that request, maybe put an OTP for 2-factor authentication, and the doctor gets access to all your medical records. And this was inspired because of the incident that the CEO went through. And I met a distant friend of mine, and the distant friend of mine, so I met him after like 5 years, and I was talking to his wife, and he was asking me where I was working. She did not remember the name Practo, and then she listened a little bit more, and then she was like, is this the company where the CEO's dad was admitted in the hospital and this happened? So that is why I'm like, dude, who is Digital Deepak? Dude, I started with a motorcycle blog, ran it for 4 years. I worked at Practo, Exotel, Instamojo, Razorpay, all these companies. Then I started my Pixel Track agency, and then I started getting into edtech, started developing my own personal brand. So this is my story. So this is what I want people to remember, and I want to have a position on their mind which is unique. So just like Naval Ravikant says, something by itself is not interesting. Like an elephant is not interesting, a cycle is not interesting. But if you have a circus where the elephant is riding a cycle, in that context it becomes very interesting, right? So that way, I do tell the story that I'm a civil engineer, then I became like a motorcycle blogger, then I was in corporate, and then I started an agency. So this story and narrative is something that sticks to the head, and it has to be different. Like civil engineering padke tum digital marketing ban gaye. So that conjecture kind of like sticks to the mind and gets its own positioning without having to compete with multiple things. So anyway, so I think we have been on it for almost an hour, and this hour just flew by. So thank you, Masters, for coming here, and I would like to wait. We are not done yet. I would like to. So this podcast was about masterminds and the power of masterminds. So any final thoughts that you have in the mind before closing today's episode, Avi?
See, definitely, if somebody sat down till the very end to watch this, they've understood that there is about the power of masterminds. And I think you're doing a great job, Deepak, of informing people that the mastermind is important. I'm 45 years old, keep saying that, not because I feel a day older than 21, as my friend over here is, but I keep saying it because life is just so beautiful, but don't do it alone. It's not meant to be done alone. Anything. That's why family at home and family at work. Put it together, create a mastermind, first get into one, and then create your own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. And lot of people, when they get into career and when they get into work, they have a family and family circle, friend circle, but all their friends move to different cities, they get busy, and there is not a lot of time to hang out with family people, but they hang out with a lot of work people. And sometimes if they are in a corporate job, there is a lot of politics happening in the work, and then you are not really enjoying time with them. So family is its own mastermind, but then you have your work related stuff. But then if you are a part of a mastermind, then you have no idea about the kind of fun we have in mastermind. So if nothing motivates you, the fun part of it should definitely motivate people. So Gigi, final thoughts? Yes.
So I think we were like really blessed, because even before we had started, even before we were calling it a mastermind, the name actually came later. We met none other than Jack Canfield. And I remember we were all standing there, we wanted to take a picture, and we were waiting for the elevator, and he's like, any questions? I think Avi asked him, do you have any advice for us? He looks at us, start a mastermind.
Yeah,
those were his words. That was his opening line, start a mastermind. Yeah, mastermind. Then went back and I watched his video, Power of Mastermind, by Dale Carnegie. Where he talks about the power of the mastermind, and it's very simple. So I would say definitely do it. Don't have a mastermind with your friends. That's not a mastermind. That's friendship. That's friendship. Find people in the industry who you can put your hand on your heart and saying, boss, they are better than me. They are much better than me, and I want to learn from them, and I want to get the results they are getting now, and enjoy the journey. It's always givers gain. The more you give, the more you get. And find the right people, the right vibe. Fortunately, we all have a great vibe. So it's fun, we are really looking forward to meeting and sharing and growing our businesses together. So it's helped me at least 10x. Doing it alone is stupidity. It's really, really stupid. Keep all egos aside and jump in ready to learn. And then of course, take action, share your results, and then it breeds a very successful circle, learn, get better, and that's all. Do a mastermind.
And one more thought that comes to my mind is that whenever you see someone who is ahead of you in terms of fitness, in terms of relationships, in terms of money, financial success, fame, everything, there is definitely going to be a reaction in it inside you. You can't just ignore it as if it never happened. You can do that if you live in a cave, but we are in the heart of the marketplace. We will keep coming across people like that. And there are two ways to deal with it. The easier way is to actually put them down, which is what most people do. Arey, he got successful because he cheated, or because of this he got married into wealth, because he had connections. And you have to do that because now the discomfort has already been created, right? Your frame has been broken, and what you believed, now there is a change in belief. And the other way to deal with that is that to actually, hey, what does he know that I don't know? If he can learn it, I can also learn it. Let me go ahead and learn it, right? Any skill that can be learned, including pitching, including going ahead and negotiating and getting deals or digital marketing, whatever it is, it can be learned. And to learn it, you need to become their friend, maybe become part of the mastermind, go get a chance to meet them, shake hands with them and be truly happy for their success, right? If you are not happy for their success, then you are never going to get it because your subconscious mind is going to block it, because you have already convinced that, hey, that is not for me. Yeah, some people say that, hey, I don't want so much fame, or they are like, money is evil. Those things come up. So I figured out long back that, hey, the only way to deal with it is that wish them well, wish them success and learn from them. If they are growing like 100x, you can at least follow them and grow like 10x. More than enough, right? So that is how the entire pie keeps increasing. So Kulwant, your final thoughts on everything that we discussed today.
10, 12 years back, I read a quote somewhere, and the quote was, "The secret of success is to find people where they are going and be there first." And that one quote just changed my life, because back in 2010-11 I could see that something is happening on the internet where more and more people are consuming the content online. So back in those days, blogging was not that popular. So I knew that people are going more towards blogging. So I started my career as a blogger in 2010, and I was at the top within next 4-5 years. And now we are living at an edge right now where everything is moving towards communities, because when you are into a community, you are actually exchanging your ideas. So we are going towards more and more masterminds. It's happening everywhere around the world. So again, that same quote is applicable here once again. The secret of success is to find people where they are going and be there first. Right? You don't need to use your own mind to find the solution. When you have, maybe let's say if you have 20 people in your community, in your mastermind, you don't need to use your own mind to do the things when there are 19 other minds who can just amplify the things for you, who can just give you better suggestions. Because if there is a mastermind, everyone has his own experience, everyone has gone through a journey, and they can give you some inputs based on their journey, and that might fit in your journey as well. So it can save a lot of your time, energy, efforts, and ultimately once you save these three things, you become unstoppable.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
So thank you all, masters. This has been truly an amazing mastermind today, having discussions, not just for creating content, but us learning from each other as well, and refreshing all the concepts that we had in the mind and the importance of it. So if you are watching this podcast until this moment, then thanks for your attention, and follow us for more podcasts, and follow Avi. I will put the links. Follow Avi, follow Gigi, follow Kulwant if you have not already. And if you are watching this in any of your podcast, there might be Gigi's audience watching it on Gigi's YouTube. So please go ahead and follow me, Avi, and others. And that's about it. One final advice that I want to give for all the viewers today is that everybody started somewhere, right? There was a time in 2012 where I was trying to make videos, and I thought a teleprompter was the only way to make videos, and I had screen showing me what to read, and I was reading, and then it looked very artificial. But slowly trying to put myself out there. Don't think that you don't have it in you. I did not have it in me. None of us had it in us to create content and start building our audience and masterminding with them. And once you create a community, then you understand what they need. And the first step of entrepreneurship is to go ahead and build your own community. So people are looking for leaders. Are you going to be that leader is the question that you have to ask yourself. So thanks a lot, and I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.